Happy New Day, everyone. Today is my yearly checkup day. Yes, that time has come around again for me to see what I've learned in the last 365 days. This is the first year that I can say that I've had the deepest understanding and appreciation of what it means for the sun to return back to the point in the sky where I was born. So when I think about the term birthday, it's like that just no longer means anything to me, because it's so much deeper than that. And so many things have happened in my 31st year, and for today to be the first, my 32nd cycle, I can say that this is by far the best that I've ever felt in my life. So much information has come to me, and I've never felt so wise and at peace with myself. I've always been pretty peaceful within myself, but you don't know how much deeper you can get into a frequency or a vibration until you actually get to that point. And I've been able to reflect on my life in ways that I never could before these last few months. Even a year ago, I was actually in the middle of traveling. I traveled from April to September. I traveled for 5 months straight by myself, going from state to state. And just from last summer to this summer, it's such a drastic change in my way of thinking, my way of seeing the world, my ways of understanding my life and the people in my life, the people who used to be in my life. I am very pleased with where I am at in this moment. And I call this my yearly checkup. And I've chosen to call my doctor, my planetary holistic doctor, Dr. Rhea Sunshine. Yes, Dr. Rhea Sunshine. And this is my first year really appreciating Dr. Rhea Sunshine for life, for information, for growth, and for really understanding my personal cycles and how everything that I do, the ways that I think, the ways that I act, everything is governed by the sun, the moon, and the planets. And being tuned in to myself more than I ever have in my whole life, it's so freeing and liberating. And I've never been happier to separate myself and to disconnect from anything and anyone that doesn't resonate with me being myself and me standing in who I am. For a majority of my life, I've been lost. I've been confused. I've been misunderstood. I've been liked and disliked. I've been loved and hated. I've been so many different things, and I never really understood a lot of my issues and my conflicts, and I've just been so confused. And to have this level of clarity and to be able to call myself a scientist, like literally, like to find out that I am genetically designed to be a teacher scientist. I'm genetically designed to study genetics and DNA and to understand it on such a deep level, and to see how it has transformed my life, and to see how I've been able to help people in ways that I've never been able to do before this time in my life. I know that there's definitely no going backwards for me. There is no possible way that I can go backwards in my frequency and my vibration and my level of understanding. There are just so many things that I've written down, so many notes that I've taken to just track my evolutionary process, the things that I learn on a day-to-day basis. And I look at what I've actually done physically, like the actual movements, and I've spent more time in the last 6 months just sitting still and being silent. And that has allowed me to gain more awareness and more information than ever in my life. I absolutely love what I do. I love understanding foundations. I love understanding how everything works, how people work. I love understanding relationships. I love understanding the cycles and why certain things happen at certain times with individuals, with partners, with groups, and with the collective. I love the fact that I am able to track everything. Anything that happens, anything that comes into my reality or another person's reality or the world's reality. I love that I can actually find scientific proof and evidence immediately that shows that no matter what's going on in the world, what's going on with me or anybody else, it's designed to be that way. I love having proof. I love being able to cover my life and to be able to look at everything that has ever happened to me that I put in the category of being positive or negative, to see that all of it is accounted for. That's so healing for me and for many other people, to be able to see that and to pretty much be forced to release negative thoughts, negative patterns, negative ways of operating. You know, you just have to release it once you get that clarity. And I've always been very inquisitive. I've always wanted to understand. I know what I feel. I've always been able to tap into people and things intuitively, and to just be a conduit of information coming from the unseen realms. But I'm an earthling right now. I live in the material world. I am a material being, and sometimes I need more. Sometimes I need to see something in black and white. Sometimes I need that physical proof and evidence just to give me the mental clarity, so that I can balance it out with the spiritual awareness or the emotional awareness that I may have. Sometimes I just need something that just says, you feel this way, or you're picking up on this energy because of this, this, and this. And it's right there in black and white. And the fact that I finally have that in my life, nothing can go wrong for me. This is also the first year that I am able to truly appreciate my mother. I know a lot of people who have not had pleasant relationships with their parents. And the last set of videos that I did consistently over like a 4-week span were my mother-daughter day videos. And that was the beginning of me really coming to understand my mother for the first time ever in my life. For those of you that know me and know my mother personally, she's a wonderful lady. She is a wonderful woman. She has worked very hard to make sure that all of my material needs were met. I am her only child, and she has really done her best for me. And I didn't grow up understanding appreciation for a mother. I didn't, even though I was raised by my mother and father, we were like 3 strangers living in the house together. You know, there was never like family time or, you know, eating together, you know, and that was never anything that I thought was supposed to be the way families were, you know. So it wasn't like I thought that I was missing out on something. I just thought that, oh, this is just the way things are supposed to be. I have had very, very, very deep healing conversations with my mother over this last year that has helped me to understand why things were the way that they were when I was younger, and growing up as a child. And I've come to understand so much about my mother's childhood along with my father's childhood. And my father, he's been deceased since February of 2012, but studying his human design has helped me to, you know, learn more about him since he's been deceased than what I ever knew about him when he was alive. So I've been able to release a lot, you know, of confusion and resentment and, you know, all of those negative things towards my father as well. And learning how to communicate better with my mother and us being able to talk and share, you know, share things now that I'm an adult, it has helped us both tremendously. And it's like I'm getting to know my mother for the first time. And appreciating her is helping me to feel accomplished within myself, because I just really wanted to have the ability to communicate with her, because that's something that we never had. We just could never get on the same page in our communication. And it was very, very frustrating for me as a child, growing up with a father who, you know, didn't really communicate with me unless he was, you know, scolding me or, you know, invoking fear into me. And then to have a mother who didn't, how you doing? To have a mother who didn't, who I felt disconnected from, and who never got to know me for me. You know, I felt like I was being raised by these two people. It's like, you all don't know me, and I'm frustrated. I'm a child, I'm frustrated. There are rules and they don't make sense to me, and, you know, why am I here? You know, I just grew up very, very angry. Just a little child, you know, just built up with frustration and anger and feeling misunderstood and feeling trapped. And, you know, I had a lot of psychological damage, a lot. And to be able to verbalize those things, you know, with my mother, and to write those things down, and to be able to break it down. So, I mean, break it down in ways that I didn't even know that I could break it down. Like, I'm breaking down my mother's psychological trauma from her childhood and explaining why she raised me a certain type of way, why she interacted with me a certain type of way. I'm breaking down my dad, you know, helping her to not resent him anymore, you know, just so many things. But there was psychological abuse, there was physical abuse. You know, my mother told me things about my dad that, you know, whoa, I was just like, oh my goodness. But I was able to look back at his childhood and see that, you know, it was very hard for him to respect women and to not be abusive towards my mother, previous women that he was with, and you know, just many different things that I could go into detail about, but I'm not. It's just that to be able to understand it, you know, to be able to not have to hold that anger in anymore, that frustration in anymore. And to, you know, to be able to let it go and just understand that it wasn't anybody's fault. It wasn't my dad's fault that he was built up in frustration and anger because his mother, you know, did things to him that, you know, are still unbelievable to me. But, you know, it's just the psychological damage, the emotional damage is just being passed down from generation to generation to generation. And, you know, I've had my own set of damaging issues, and many other people have had their experiences that have caused trauma and damage in the way that they operate as an adult. So we all are scarred in some type of way, but to know that there are ways to heal, to know that there are ways to get past our problems and to get past the things that have us stuck in toxic patterns. We are really living in a beautiful world right now, despite the craziness that's going on, despite, you know, all of the chaos that we see on the planet. We have access to things that were not available when our parents were children or when our grandparents were children. And we have the opportunity to live lives and to set the foundation for future generations in ways that will allow them to not experience the types of pain and hurt and trauma and chaos that we have. You know, we really do have the opportunity to break these cycles that are not conducive to us living correctly and raising our children to be adults that live in integrity and stand in their truth. My mother said to me the other day, and this made me feel really good, even though for her it was more of a frustration she was expressing. For me, it made me feel really good. But she said to me, she said, you know, I just don't understand. I don't know anybody that just doesn't complain and doesn't worry about anything and just goes with the flow and just, you know, doesn't have any type of dissatisfaction or just anything in life. I don't know anybody that's like that. And I laughed because it let me know that I have definitely hit a new level. I've hit a new level in life. And the fact that my mother is recognizing it is major, because my mother, all she sees is my father. Like, when she looks at me, when I talk in a certain way, when I move in a certain way, she sees my dad all day long. She hears my dad all day long, and it's like I just trigger her. I trigger her trauma. I trigger her past situations, like, all the time, just being myself. And I was able to have a very deep conversation with her, stemming from her expressing that, you know, it's weird for her that I don't complain, that I don't seem to have any issues, that I don't seem to feel like anything's wrong in the world. And, you know, I might have to move. So this is a perfect example of how auras pull. When you're a generator, your aura just pulls things to you. Now, there was nobody around, but I guess I'm building up some type of energy running my mouth, and now I'm surrounded. All right, so like I was saying, I was able to have a very deep and healing and stimulating conversation with my mother, stemming from her statement of me not expressing, you know, negativity or dissatisfaction, you know, for things. And I was able to take things a little bit deeper with her than what I've been able to do before, because my mother's design it's a very surface level type design. So my mother is genetically designed to not really be equipped for foundational ways of thinking like me. So it is frustrating for her at times, because when she says things, I can immediately, you know, take what she says and then, like, break it down into a million pieces. And, you know, it bothers her at times, but at the same time, she lets me know that even though it mentally makes her uncomfortable, she grows in some type of way. She's able to think deeper because that's just not a natural thing for her. But everyone is designed differently. So I'm always, talking to my mom and letting her know that I just want to find a common ground. I want us to be able to communicate. I want you to be able to say something to me, and then I can respond back, and then you understand me the way that I understand you. And it's always, more me understanding more, but because of my awareness of who she is now for the first time ever, I have more patience, I have more compassion, I have more understanding, and it's not as frustrating as it was for pretty much the majority of my life. And I'm just happy to be where I'm at with being able to communicate with her. And we, there's still many times where we don't see eye to eye, where we're still on different pages, but it's okay because we're all a work in progress. And with my dad, I didn't really have the opportunity to have a one-on-one healing relationship with him, because the knowledge that I have now, I didn't have that knowledge before he passed away. So the fact that I'm able to do it with my mom, and my mother is 40 years older than me, so there's a huge gap between us just in our age. And the era that she was born in versus the era that I was born in, there's a humongous gap. So to be able to actually start bridging that in 2015, 2016, that's not easy, and most people never have that opportunity. So that's another thing that I am truly, truly grateful for, because my mother could be in the same position as my dad right now, So I'm grateful that, I have this opportunity to bring some level of awareness and be able to appreciate her, and to understand, all of my lack of awareness and ignorance in the past, which I used to just automatically blame on my parents. And that's what a lot of people do. You naturally expect for your parents to always tell the truth, always know what's best for you, never steer you in the wrong direction. So when you get of a certain age and you see that a lot of the things that your parents taught you or told you just do not add up, and they have nothing to do with the way that your life is going, you feel cheated. You feel like you were supposed to tell me the truth. You were supposed to know these things. You gave birth to me. I am a mixture of mother and father. How could you just not know what I needed? And for me to be studying that nobody knows what anybody needs, and to see that everybody's been raised incorrectly, everybody's been, forced to think in certain ways, operate in certain ways that have nothing to do with who they are individually and genetically and uniquely designed to be. It's like, wow, to really understand it and to see the distortion in the world, to see the inability to communicate clearly, to see how there's so much difference in the world, and on top of all of that difference, there's no understanding. There's no understanding, which means that there's no ability to be able to appreciate individuality and uniqueness. And a great example is something that my mom told me that she tried to force me to do when I was a child. And the way that it made me feel inside, I cringed. But I didn't project that negative energy that I felt inside of me towards her, because I understood she didn't know any better. But a lot of you all can relate to this. We know that a lot of people it seems that more people are right-handed than left-handed. I'm left-handed. So of course, when I was a child and I started using my hands, and that dominant left hand started writing and using the spoons and utensils and things, because of the way my mother was programmed, she tried to force me to be right-handed. And I've heard this story for other people as well. But whenever I would naturally use my left hand to do things, she would take the pencil or the fork or whatever and move it into my right hand, and then I would just switch it back. And when she told me that she tried to make me be left-handed, I said, it feels violating, but I understand it. Like, I understand why you would feel the need to try to force me to be left-handed, because for you, it's almost like a disability. It's like, oh my God, you can't be left-handed. That looks, you're disabled if you're left-handed, and I can make fun of it now, but it's so many things that parents have in their mindsets, or things that are traditional or things that were passed down, that they just feel, oh, my offspring has to be like this. My offspring has to do the exact same things that I was taught. And if they do anything else, they need to be punished. They need to be forced into operating in the ways that I was taught. And all of that is going to break down. It's already starting to, because we are seeing a lot of rebellion in the world. We're seeing a lot of people who were raised on traditional beliefs and forced to be certain ways as children. We're seeing them growing up and rebelling and breaking out of those patterns and showing that, I will no longer do this. My body doesn't resonate with it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't make me happy. I don't like it. And mommy, daddy, I don't care what you say, but I can no longer do this. I can no longer be this person that you feel that I'm supposed to be. So we're already seeing those cycles, those traditional genetic cycles that are causing so much chaos on the planet. We're seeing those things being shattered. Little by little, we're seeing things, like systems fall apart. And me being designed and specifically focused on uniqueness, on individuality, and really understanding that each person is an intricate piece of this huge puzzle, this huge evolutionary process, I feel like for the first time in my life that I actually belong here now. For a long time, I didn't feel like I belonged here. And, I was always looking up at the sky waiting for something to come and pick me up. But now it's like, yeah, this is my time. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be, when these people are breaking out of their chains and these systems that they've been, locked in, they're going to need answers. They're going to need someone to help them get into their lane and really understand their law and help them heal through clarity, help them heal and understand all of their trauma all of their issues, all of their anger, their frustration, all of the things that took place in their early life that got them to the point of saying, I can no longer do this. I have to let go of these things. I have to get out of these toxic patterns. I have to stop doing the same thing over and over and over again that is not benefiting me. And for me to just be in that position to not give a person my opinion, not to give a person my judgment, but to literally say, hey, what is your information, so that I can pull up your genetic blueprint, and then to be able to just translate it for them. Not tell them anything coming from me, but just translate what they are, translate who they are, translate how they think, why they do the things that they do, why they're attracted to certain people. And when I discovered human design and I started studying DNA a few years ago, I knew it was big. I knew it was me. I knew it was my thing, but I'm still just scratching the surface. I'm still just at the beginning. And to feel as good as I feel on my checkup day, my yearly checkup day with Dr. Ray of Sunshine, and to express the results that I have so far, I can't even fathom where I'm going to be next year for my next yearly checkup. And one of the things that I feel is important for people to know, something that, most of us never learned in school, never learned in college, is that we are biological life forms. Just like it takes 9 months for us to grow in our mother's womb, once we are birthed, there is still biological building that has to take place as we get older. And every 7 years, our cells regenerate. And this is information that you can find on your own, but this is so important to me because I realize that many people are operating in chaos by not understanding the biological cycles that we have to go through and that we have to be patient with. Every 7 years, our cells regenerate. So from when you're born until you turn 7 years old, your cells are taking in and storing information. So whatever you're taught from your parents, from your teacher, right? I ran out of space, part 2. So whatever you absorb from the outside world within your first 7 years, whether whatever you're taking in is correct for you or not, that information is being stored in your cells. So from birth until 7 years old, that's the first layer of information that is going to determine the way that you operate for the rest of your life. When I learned that and I started studying that, I said, oh my God, that means that everyone is really operating as a 7-year-old. Everyone is playing out patterns and playing out things that they were conditioned by that happened within their first 7 years. And of course, most of us don't even remember a lot of the things that happened in our first 7 years. But then on top of that, you go from 7 to 14, that's the second layer of cellular storage. Information that's stored in your cells. So you have birth to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 28, 28 to 35, 35 to 42, 42 to 49, so on and so forth. I am in the middle of my 5th 7-year cycle. And everything prior to, I'll say, me being 30 years old, everything prior to that has been conditioning, has been homogenization, has been incorrect thinking, toxic patterns, things that I took in and thought applied to me and didn't. I have 30 years of junk that is still in me, is still stored in me. Because just like it takes 7 years to create a layer of cellular information, it takes 7 years to decondition. And the only way you can decondition is by operating correctly, by operating as yourself. So if you're living your life operating according to everyone else's timing, operating according to other people's energy, other people's demands, operating according to traumatic events that have taken place, operating according to what's on television, what's in social media, all of these different things, if you're operating according to everything outside of you and you never knew you never knew your blueprint, you never knew how you were designed to operate, you're just storing information and laying layer after layer after layer of stuff that has you malfunctioning, has you thinking about things that don't matter, has you running around doing things that are not for you. It's unbelievable. And to learn more and more about how deep this goes every single day. I learn something new every single day. Every single day. And to just see that this matrix is dense. This matrix is very, very dense. I don't have a choice but to learn this, go as deep as I possibly can, and touch whoever I can. And it's one by one, because it's not easy. It's not easy to be yourself in a world like this. It's not easy to say, I am going to disconnect from all of the stuff that I've learned. I'm going to disconnect from all of the people who I've been conditioned by. And I'm going to stand in my truth. I'm going to stand in my integrity. That is not easy. Because a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared to go against what the collective says, or what the tribe says, or what the family says, or what their partner says. A lot of people are very, very afraid to do that. And I understand it. For me, I don't have a choice. And I have to do it. And that's why right now in this moment, I honestly, I don't feel any type of way about anything that disconnects from me based on me being in my lane, based on me operating in my individuality and my integrity, because I know that this is the only way for me to connect with the right people for me. It's the only way. But I cannot pretend. I cannot go against my body. I cannot do anything that makes me feel resistance inside of my sacral center, inside of my gut. Anything that makes me hesitate or makes me question, should I be doing this? It's not for me. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who's asking me to do it. I have to honor myself. Because if I don't, then I'm not operating in my integrity. Period. And if I'm going to be a teacher, if I'm going to help others be in their integrity and to stand in their truth, I have to be an example of that. I have to be able to stand alone, because in me being able to stand alone, it's not about being lonely. And that's another thing. I'm not lonely at all. I am very much alone. I understand that I am very much in my own lane and standing as an individual, but there is nothing inside of me that is worried, that is doubtful, that fears that I will not connect with the people who are right for me. There's nothing inside of me that doubts that. And the level of patience that I have now is unbelievable, because I was that person that was scrambling to find out where I belonged in life. I was that person that was stressing out, because it's like, what am I supposed to be doing? I can't see where I'm going to be 5 years from now. I would just wreck my brain asking questions, thinking about things that didn't even matter. And now it's like, I'm sitting still majority of the time, and I'm observing majority of the time. And in me doing that, all I see is the old me and everybody that I'm observing. Everything that I see is just the old version of me. And I'm like, wow, that used to be me. I was running around in fear. I was running around, feeling unworthy, feeling like I had to prove myself to people, feeling like I wasn't going to make it, feeling like, I couldn't survive. And then it clicked and said, wait, but I'm here right now. I've already like made it through all of that stuff. I mean, it was moments where I was like, this must be the end. And then it just like, the end never came. And I'm like, wow, the mind is really something. And to be so tuned in with my body and to be so disconnected from my mind, it's like, to be able to sit still and observe that your body doesn't want to move, it doesn't want to go anywhere, it just wants to sit and be still, and to listen to the thoughts, to listen to how your mind tries to trick you and tries to make you think that you're supposed to be doing something. Like your mind is like setting up strategies for you to like get your body out of that stillness and out of that peace. And to be able to just sit there and say, wow, my mind it's like it's trying to be my enemy at times. And to be able to not succumb to the demands of the mind, not fall into the traps of what your mind is trying to set for you. It's such a huge accomplishment for me, and it's just the beginning. And it is what has allowed me to be at this level of peace. And I know my level of peace is only going to get deeper. My awareness is only going to expand. And it's like the journey begins every moment. Every new moment, the journey is beginning. And something really, really special happened to me yesterday. I'm still processing this because I feel that it's a gift from the universe. It's a gift to show me that I've been doing the work and I've been operating correctly, at least in the beginning stages of operating correctly. And I'm very thankful for this. So this is a story. Yesterday was my last day of being 31 years old. A lady reached out to me the day prior to that. And she said she found me on YouTube. And she said that, you know, I'm really confused. I'm new to all of this. And I really don't understand what you're talking about. But I feel that the something in it resonates with me. You know, something within your words resonates with me. Even though I'm confused, it still resonates. And I would like to know more. I would like to know more about human design and the Akashic record readings. We set up, you know, a quick phone chat on yesterday. And I asked this lady for her information so I could at least put the blueprint with the person I was talking to on the phone, because now that I'm able to, you know, pull up a person's human design, look at their genetic blueprint, and then immediately see their problems and see whatever they've been dealing with their whole life, it allows me to lay a foundation of initially connecting with them correctly. So when I pulled up her human design, come to find out, this lady is literally the exact same profile and the exact same life purpose combination that I am. So when it comes to your life purpose, when you look at your human design blueprint, there are 4 aspects of that blueprint that make up your main life purpose. It makes up the way in which you are going to live your life. And it shows you right then and there in those 4 dominating characteristics how you're designed to be. And everything else is pretty much secondary. So we literally have the same profile, and we have the same incarnation cross, the same life purpose cross. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And something said, look at the year. And this was the part that just blew me away. This lady turns out to be exactly 31 years older than me. We connect on the last day of my 31st year. She's 31 years older than me, and we have the exact same design with just minor differences in, you know, the other parts of our blueprint, but we have the exact same design. The rush that came over me being in conversation with this woman, I've never felt anything like it. I listened to her story. I listened to her share with me all of the things that she's been through, all of the confusion that she's had, all of the difficulties in relationships with people, with not being able to follow through on things. I mean, she just went down a list, and it was everything that is me. Every single thing that she shared with me, it was me. And it just made me happy. And it's like, happy isn't even like good enough for me to describe what I really felt. But within that time of me talking to her and listening to her and allowing her to share her stories with me, and to listen to this 63-year-old version of me, the gratitude, the appreciation, everything, the compassion. I mean, it went up like a million levels in that moment. And to be so connected to her to not know what she looked like, to not know anything other than I'm talking to this lady on the phone and I have her blueprints sitting right in front of me. That's it. And to be able to tell her that she was never wrong, to be able to tell her that there's nothing mentally wrong with her, to be able to break down all of her problems, because all of her problems were my problems. Everything she said was me. And I knew it. I mean, I knew it like it was me. And by the end of that conversation, the weight that had been lifted off of her, just through me giving her an explanation for her 63 years of confusion, in that one phone conversation, me being able to give her an explanation and to reassure her that she was perfect and that it wasn't anybody's fault. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her parents' fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. She was like brand new after that. She couldn't wait to go outside. She couldn't wait to go interact with people. She just, the happiness that came over her, it was like the healing that she got, I got it too. Because I was able to see what so many people go through. That so many people grow into older age, and some of them never get the opportunity to just know themselves. And they leave here mad at the world. They leave here blaming other people. They leave here feeling guilty and shameful and unworthy. And she said to me, she said, I wish I would have found you 30 years ago. And I said to her, you know, everything is in divine timing. You found me right when you were supposed to. And I'm so glad that you reached out to me, because you don't even realize how significant you are in my life. You think that I'm helping you and giving you clarity. You have no idea what this conversation has done to me on my last day of being 31 years old, talking to a woman who comes out of nowhere and happens to be 31 years older than me and has the exact same design as me, the exact same stories. You just can't, you can't even explain it. You just can't even, it's not even of this world. That's how I feel. It's not even of this world. But I felt like it was the best pre-birthday gift that I have ever received in my life, because I've never been at this level of consciousness and awareness and happiness and peace within myself ever. And the universe sent her to me, and I was sent to her to just show that everything is perfect. Everything is in divine timing. And if I wasn't at peace with myself, if I wasn't embracing my individuality and standing in my integrity, if I was allowing the outside world to distract me and to put me in lower states of consciousness and frustrate me and, just put me everywhere other than my lane, I wouldn't even have been in the position to connect with her the way that I did. So me just honoring myself, me following my body, me being me, placed me in a perfect position to not only help myself, but to help someone who has felt tormented by life, who has felt nothing but struggle in life, nothing but frustration and anger in life for 63 years. And for me to be half her age and be able to bring something of value that makes her feel that she's a new person. And it wasn't even about me at all. It was all about her, because I gave her herself. It just so happened that I could relate to it in a deeper way. But I was able to give her herself, her information. And that's just the beginning. That's the universe's way of letting me know, you thought that was something, just wait. It's more coming. And I know it is. I have no doubts, no worries that everything is always going according to plan, regardless of what's going on in this world, regardless of the chaos, the confusion. My body will always let me know where I need to be, what I need to do, what I need not to do. My body will always let me know. And yeah, my mind is always going to try to distract me. It's always going to try to tell me to do something that I don't need to be doing, but I know the tricks now. And yeah, I may still slip up, but I know my lane now. I know where I belong. And even if I do make mistakes, which I will make more mistakes, I know how to turn those mistakes into treasures. I know how to turn those mistakes into something that everyone can benefit from. Everyone. So this is a beautiful day. My first day of my 30-second cycle. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Just thank you. I'm just so thankful. I'm so happy. I'm gonna hug some trees today. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hug some trees. I'm already in the grass. I'm by the lake. Just what more could I ask for? What more could I ask for on this beautiful day? I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited for the upcoming moments. I'm not worried about what's going to happen in the future. I'm not worried about what happened in the past. Whatever is supposed to come to me in each new moment, I'm just going to embrace it wholeheartedly, fully, and yeah, that's it. I'm just going to make sure I stay grounded and centered in my flowments. So I hope you all gained my joy and my positivity and my passion, my happiness. I hope you all got some of it, because it's beaming. It's coming off of me today. And I know everyone out here in this park, all of this nature, everyone's getting it. Everybody's getting it today. Everybody's getting it, because I got it to give. And I'm always going to have it to give. So, yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to relax now and just enjoy and let my body guide me towards whatever it wants to do, wherever it wants to go. And I guess I'll see where I end up. So, yes, thank you all. Thank you all so much. Free your mind to shine. Until next time.